What's up, guys? This is JB with Marketing 360. I have Jacob Snowden with me today. He's an expert when it comes to video marketing for small businesses. So I wanted to pull him on today to share some tips and strategies about how you as a small business can take advantage of video marketing to really grow your brand and scale your business. And so welcome, Jacob.
Hey, JB, good to see you and good to not see everybody else, but at least you guys can see us.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jacob, I guess let's start from the beginning, maybe the basics. Where does a small business start when it comes to video marketing?
Yeah, I think that where small businesses start when it comes to video marketing isn't much different than where you would start when it comes to any marketing. I think you really need to know who you're talking to and where you're talking to them. If I think it a lot of meeting anybody, right? Video is just kind of putting a face to your marketing messaging. So if I was going to talk to somebody in a swanky ballroom, I would talk to them completely differently than I would if I was meeting them at the local pub,
Right.
right? So I think that knowing who you're talking to, where you're talking to them is going to dictate how you'd present yourself in those situations. And I think it's no different with video marketing as well. So similarly, if I was going to show up in Instagram stories and talk to, at-home moms, I would talk to them completely differently and do it in a completely different method than I would if I was going to YouTube and talking to your local mechanics, right? I think that the tips and tricks and things like that there are going to be completely different. For example, Instagram stories are typically vertical, they're typically shorter. You're not going to do some sort of full length video how-to there, but you could do that on YouTube and like how to fix your car, right? Completely
Mhm.
different messages to completely different markets. So I think that defining those two are definitely the key to where your video is going to go. And then, beyond that, a lot of it is just having the discipline to make these videos and make them regularly. I know you make these videos, what is it, like twice a week now?
Yeah, well, I mean, this type of video we're doing right now is once a week, but I do multiple other types of videos like tips and, like, I mean, you just hit it. I have some longer form where I do longer tips, more informational, educational type stuff, and then also really short stuff that you might use in like an Instagram story, like you said. So probably on average, 4 or 5 videos a week, I would say, is where I'm at right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a ton of content that you're putting out there. And the more that you're out there and putting that content out, the more likely people are to see it, they are to resonate with it, they are to find the specific tips and tricks that match their needs specifically. And that ultimately comes back to knowing who you're talking to. What are their pain points? What are the questions that they have? And I think, in terms of the types of videos that you would make, I find that some of the easiest ones are tips and tricks, or just explaining how your business even functions. And that's because most businesses or people looking for businesses, they don't know. They have questions. That's why they're online researching you in the first place. They want to know, what's it going to be like when I pick up the phone and call you and go through this process with you. And if you can lay out, hey, we're going to talk to you and do a quote, and we're going to get to know you and what your needs are, and then we're going to show up and do a free consultation, and then we're going to actually do the job, and then we're going to follow up after that and make sure that you guys are taken care of. Now that customer doesn't have as much mystery as to what's going to happen. And I think it's the fear of the unknown that truly keeps people from calling you and moving forward, because they just have no idea. So the more you can create videos that lift the veil and show people what they're going to go through, the better. And then the other side of that is just answering their typical questions. Like, let's take a roofer, for example. Well, what are the different types of shingles that you should look into? Are there different colors? Do the different colors change, the temperature inside your house? Should you be thinking about those? Is someone in Florida going to purchase a completely different roof than somebody in Colorado? Or hail versus snow? Like, those types of things are questions that people have. And one of the best places to start there is listen to your customers. When you talk to them on the phone, what are the common questions that they're asking? Answer those to start. It's kind of that low hanging fruit. Answer their questions, and then I guarantee you in the comment sections, you're just going to get more questions, or you're going to find new things that you uncover. And your video can be as basic as this is with a webcam, or, right on your phone in your pocket. It doesn't have to be anything that's crazy complex. Now, obviously, as you build as a company, you're going to want to make them maybe a little bit nicer, a little bit more polished, because people do judge your products and services based on the quality of your videos. So I know we have a lot of tips online, and I'd say let's throw them in the comments or in the description of this video, some of the 5 tips and tricks for shooting your own videos. And then when you're ready to really move into having more professionally polished pieces, that's when you'd hit someone like me up, or hire someone specifically, or whatever you need to do to up the quality of those productions.
Right. Yeah, I mean, tons of tips there that you kind of ran through, and I would just back you up on that in terms of kind of 2 targets initially when you're creating videos. The way I think about it is you have content that you create for prospects. This is people that are potentially looking to use your services or buy your products. And you nailed it. I mean, what are the questions that they have? There's a reason people do research before they fill out a lead form or make a phone call. And what they're trying to do is answer the questions in their mind. And so if you can answer those questions via video, that's going to be transformational for them, right? Because it builds trust, because they see that you know what you're talking about, which ultimately builds the confidence to go with you as a brand as opposed to somebody else. So think about the questions that come up in your sales process. There's so many. And the videos, don't need to be extremely elaborate. You could maybe just hit on one point. Maybe it's, answering that question only takes 30 seconds, or maybe it takes, a 10-minute video. Just think about what the best answer is to those questions and start creating that content. The beautiful thing is you can put this on your website. This is great sales collateral for your sales team. You can build email templates with these videos. So as your team is getting these questions, they don't have to, reinvent the wheel every time. They can just send these, email templates out to their prospects and their leads. You could put them all on your YouTube channel, so people have a resource there to find all those different frequently asked questions there. And there's always content that's new ideas that are coming up every day, right? So just note those. What I do is actually just use my notepad and my phone when I think of something, and I put it in there, because sometimes when it's time to create videos, it's hard to think about what to create. So it's nice to have some inventory there to work off of topics. So power tip, use your notepad for that. As stuff just pops in your head, you might just be driving home one day and think, oh, that'd be a good topic to make a video. Throw it in there, right? And then you can create that later when you're looking for ideas. And then the next leg after the prospects is when you actually open an account, right, for services. And what are the videos that help them through the process? And Jacob hit the nail on the head there in terms of creating videos for each step in your process to make them feel comfortable. And this is going to save time of your account managers or your project managers, or however your business is structured, where now they have email templates that they can send for that piece of the process. And so everybody doesn't have to type these big long emails and do all these things every single time to re-explain the same thing over and over. This is a great opportunity for a video. And the nice thing about a video is you have the perfect pitch every time, and you can use it 1,000 times. So if you can get it just right, it's really, really the best piece of collateral that you could possibly have. So definitely highly recommend just start creating content, just start pumping it out. One power tip I've given people that are kind of hesitant to doing it is, and Jacob nailed it, imagine the prospect standing there, and instead of talking to the camera, actually just speak to them. And that makes it a lot more conversational and easier for you to do. And also maybe start your first week, just tell yourself you're going to make 10 videos for the week, and you don't have to post any of them. Just go through the process of creating them. And at the end of the week, if you really like any of them, you can post them, but you don't have to post any. If you just start making movement like that and putting action behind it, what happens is you'll start to get more and more comfortable. And by the time you do a video 11 and 12 and 13, now you really do feel good about it, and you actually start posting that content. So just some things that I've learned in my experience with video marketing to hopefully help you guys out. What are some other tips, Jacob, maybe that you have with video and getting started, lighting, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it right on the head there with, creating the plan to create 10 different videos, even if you don't post them. I would even challenge you just to post them anyways. Even if you hate the videos, just go ahead and post them. Done is better than perfect, right? If you can keep that momentum and keep things moving and post frequently, that's going to be better than just never posting them or always being afraid to post them. Get them out, learn from the mistakes that you made, and then move on to the next video, right? In terms of kind of basic, video tips, making sure you're on the same level as your subject. You'll see that right now I'm right in the middle. I'm not like way down here. I'm not like way up here with my head getting cut off, right? I'm eye level with my camera. Um, you don't typically want a window like this behind you, kind of blowing it out. If it was a bigger window, I'd be concerned about it because I'd just look like a dark shadow, just kind of like witness protection style. So, avoid that. If anything, stand in front of a window. So I actually have a light behind my camera right now, just boosting off the wall, which is why I'm pretty well lit. My background's a little bit darker than I am. I think I can see it off the glass behind you. I can see the big windows that you're standing in front of that light
Yep.
you really well too. So standing in front of those windows is a great way to get natural light without having to spend a bunch of money on lighting. I would say if you were going to spend money on something for your equipment, I would say a tripod and a microphone. Most people will suffer through bad video quality, but bad audio just kind of grates on your ears. Your mind actually processes audio faster than it does visuals. So we process that quicker. So better audio is going to help. The microphone I have right here works really well. The one you have, wearing a headset or earbuds or whatever to get the microphone off your camera and a little bit closer to your mouth is going to produce that better audio. And then a tripod just keeps it steady. So those are kind of like some real rough tips and tricks that I would at least start with. And then obviously there's always so many more. And I would say go to the University of YouTube. Go there and learn all the things that you can. And even some of the best videographers and photographers I know, they weren't traditionally trained. They went out and they just had the desire to learn on their own and kept at it, right? I don't think most business owners have the time to do that full time. But I think that there are things in there that you can learn that will teach you the sort of those core elements and allow you to keep improving. Even if it's that 1%, like you always say, improve by 1%, and you'll see that progress over time.
Right. Yeah. No, great tips. I love it. Any other thoughts? Any other tips when it comes to video marketing for small business you wanted to share?
Yeah, one last one that I always kind of go back to is creating things that we would call evergreen content. So it's stuff that you can reuse over and over again. If you're going to spend money on something, you don't want this high-end production, spending on like a basic intro or an outro that you can throw onto the end of any of your videos, like a logo animation you can add to every single one of your videos. It's not highly expensive, but it's something you can keep reusing. And if you're going to do something like a video shoot, yeah, the cost of that is higher, but you now have that footage to reuse over and over again. A lot of times when we do those shoots, it's what we'd call B-roll footage of like shaking hands and smiling faces in the office and things like that you probably see in all of our videos. And you can take that content and put it on top of you talking about your business or your product. If I shoot a close-up videos of, I don't know, my sunglasses, as I talk about how awesome our sunglasses are, I always have that content to cut back to. It doesn't have to be new content every single time. It just helps make that video a little bit more engaging and allows you to reuse that content over and over again. So I think those are really good things to start out with. What are the things I can keep reusing, even if it's that high-end cost? Like if I'm going to spend $5,000 on some video production, that's great. I mean, you're going to get to use that for the next 12 months. Break that into 12. That's actually not that expensive in terms of your business and the cost to do it. So
Yeah.
I think that's where I would truly look, is that evergreen content, and then just keep making new pieces of content over and over again until something sticks.
I love that because you can even cut that out into small little videos for social media. You could even probably still image screenshot stuff for pictures for social media. I mean, there's just so many usages to spending some money on a really nice video shoot, and then all of that asset you can use over the course, like you said, a year, maybe even more, if you have enough content there. So that's a great tip.
Yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon for people to look at some of the videos I saw when I started at Madwire, and they're like, I love that video. That's the one I want. I'm like, the one from 7 years ago? Like, I mean, I guess, yeah, we can do that, totally.
Right.
So those videos are still getting seen, and honestly, your older videos, they'll over time they're going to perform better just because they've been there longer. It's that SEO ranking, right? The longer it's there, the more people see it, the better it's going to rank. So just always looking towards the future and using that content over and over again. It's definitely one of your most valuable tools in terms of convincing people to purchase. There's a lot more emotion you can pull from video compared to just like written text or still photos and things like that.
100%. Yep. Awesome. Well, I appreciate the tips. Great information. Hopefully, this was helpful to everybody watching today. And you can use this information to level up your video marketing or maybe even get started if you haven't done it before. So, if you have any tips, leave it in the comments. Like the video if you like it, share it with your friends, and follow us for more content like this down the road. We appreciate everything, and hope you guys continue to grow your business. Jacob, I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Love being on, JB. Happy marketing, everybody.
All right. Happy marketing. See ya.